What's up, family? It's your girl, Chef B, owner of Pretty Soul Kitchen. I wanted to introduce you guys to some of our new menu items. Make sure you stop by and try this Southern cuisines. We have our soul pizza, which is fried chicken, barbecue sauce, delicious, our catfish and fries, our garlic shrimp, and my favorite, the fried grits and creamy shrimp. And we have another flatbread pizza as well with shrimp, spinach, and sun-dried tomatoes.
Peace, family. Will Roundtree here with another episode of the Full-Time CEO podcast. And I am sitting here with Chef B from Pretty Soul Kitchen. Chef, are you ready for this interview?
I am.
Look, she's going to talk about her journey of becoming a restaurant owner and more importantly, talking about the struggles it takes to be a successful restaurant owner, business owner, all that good stuff. So y'all make sure y'all stay tuned. And y'all already know. I'll see y'all at the top.
If you have a goal, have a vision, just don't stop. Don't stop. Keep going. See it to the end. And always stay down and bet on yourself. That's the one thing that I'm always going to do is bet on myself. Always.
100%.
Because ain't nobody going to do it like I do it.
Right.
So, believing in that and believing in yourself is very important.
You can't save your way out of poverty.
If the bank is going to take your money invested in real estate, how come we not doing that?
We got to focus on ownership. We have to own shit.
I love investing in real estate. It's the one tangible asset class that has stood the test of time.
Peace, family. Will Roundtree here with another episode on the Full-Time CEO podcast, where we interview entrepreneurs, businessmen, businesswomen, moguls, and everything in between. And today, I have the pleasure of interviewing another legend. Look, I know y'all hear me use that term legend a lot, but I use it because everybody who I bring on the Full-Time CEO podcast, they're definitely a legend in their own right. They're a legend in their respective field. And more importantly, she actually know what she's doing. And so I want to introduce somebody who, like I said, who's definitely touched a lot of souls in the kitchen. She's fed a lot of families. She's probably responsible for a lot of people getting that home cooked meal that they miss, especially out here in Las Vegas. It's not a lot of places that I will personally co-sign where I'm saying, look, y'all want some good catfish, some good chicken, and whatever it is you want, this is where you need to go. And so I wouldn't be doing the city any justice if I didn't pull up and had the opportunity to come and sit down with the owner of Pretty Soul Kitchen, Brandy, a.k.a. Chef B. What's going on, Chef?
Hey, what's happening?
What's going on?
Everything.
Everything. That's what I tell a lot of people. When they say, Will, what's up? I say, everything is up.
Exactly.
So we are here, Pretty Soul Kitchen.
Yes.
I would imagine that this is kind of like a dream for you. Because definitely. I meet so many chefs and their goal is to have a kitchen, to have a restaurant. First of all, before we get into that, what got you into cooking? Because cooking is like an acquired type of thing to do. Okay. Look, I put some meat on the stove. I have zero patience when it comes to cooking. So how did you develop the patience to want to cook, especially for people?
So honestly, it's just a God-given gift. I tell any and everybody, this is not a skill that I learned. This is definitely a skill that God has placed upon me, my life, my hands, and all. And where did I find the patience? I have no idea. However, it's just something that really just comes easy to me.
Definitely.
I sat down one time in my life and I was just like, what is it that is easy to me that doesn't require a lot of thought, a lot of anything, even though owning a business always requires a lot of you.
And we're going to get into that
part. But the skill itself was just one of those things I really thought about. I was like, I really can do this, and I love to share my creations with other people. Definitely. So yeah.
It's interesting that you use that term creations. And, I've had the pleasure of eating here several times. And your dishes really are like art pieces.
Yes.
So when you talk about creations, how do you come up with the ideas? Because I know that chefs are very particular about the product that they present to the clients and the customers.
So I've said this before, but it kind of sounds a little crazy.
Okay.
But the ideas really come to me in my dreams, a lot of them.
Okay.
The majority of my menu actually was something that I visualized at some point, whether it was in the dream or just, like that light bulb comes on.
Definitely.
And I just make it. So it's, it's the seeing it in my head first and then kind of producing it on a plate.
Wow. So it's that easy for you.
Yeah.
Look, I think of a peanut butter and jelly and I might mess that up. Look, I need all of the help I can get. So let's take it all the way back.
Okay.
You're originally from Virginia, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And so you decided to start cooking while you were out there. Like, how did you get into the space of cooking? Because it's one thing to cook at home, which I think a lot of people do that. They cook for their families and different things of that nature. But to get into cooking for other people, that's a whole different ball game. So how did you get into that part and where did that start?
So I actually have been in some sort of in a restaurant, whether it was managing, it was cooking, whatever the case may be. So I kind of been doing that really all of my life, honestly. I did go to culinary school, but I went to culinary school to fine tune my skill. It was things that I was doing in the kitchen that I didn't necessarily have a name for. I didn't really know what that was. So I went to culinary school for that. But I mean, I've literally been just doing it for forever. My grandmother has a child care center. I actually kind of started there. Okay. My mom.
So that's where you got your patience from.
I think that's where the patience came from.
That'll do it.
Because for a long time, so my mom, she's always changing her diet, right? And always not so friendly to what myself and my brother enjoy. So I was like, you know what? I'm about to start cooking for myself. Okay, because I'm not going to continue to eat this way. Right. So that's where I really started in the kitchen and getting things going. And then eventually, I started working at my grandmother's child care center, went to culinary school. And then, in that field, just working in different restaurants and things like that. So that's kind of where I got that experience from, for sure. Yeah.
So you got a chance to see both sides because just because you can cook doesn't mean you can run a restaurant.
Yeah.
And I meet so many people in this industry that is something that they struggle with. Yeah. So what would you say are some of the things that you took away from the business side being in your grandmother's child care center from a business standpoint?
Well, just being able to have the patience.
Definitely.
That's number one. And just staying focused on that goal, really, because I've watched my grandmother be an entrepreneur all of my life. Correct. She was definitely doing it long before I was here, but definitely watching her, and being good with people. That was a big thing. That she's like the parents that she used to talk to and deal with, like they still remember her to this day. Some of the kids are, not quite as old as me, but they will, talk about my grandmother for ages and ages. But when it comes to the business, definitely, being a people person. I am not always a people person, though. Okay. I can't say that.
Hey, we all have our days.
I am a little, because I'm a little bit on the shy side sometimes.
Okay.
And my safe space is the kitchen.
Right.
So that's where I feel most comfortable. But yeah, so understanding that dynamic and just like properly managing things. There's a lot of things to manage. But just being, properly managing stuff. That's kind of what I got from her. Yeah.
So one of the biggest things that I see in the world of entrepreneurship that I think so many people should work on is organization. To run a business, you have to be organized.
Yes.
Because in the beginning, you're everything. You're the bookkeeper, you're the manager, you're the salesperson, you're the this, you're the that. And so you have to have a level of of organization.
Yeah.
You have to have a certain level of tolerance. There's this buzzword everybody use, emotional intelligence, because you have to deal with people who you're expecting you out of them.
Correct.
And you will not get that.
Yeah.
And so you have to know how to respond. And so when you talk about patience and organization and all of those things, how often are you tested being on this journey?
Every day. Every single day. Definitely when it comes to patience. I at some point I had to stop praying for patience, okay? Because
praying for strength.
all of that, okay? Because one thing for sure, the things that you pray for 100% test you. Okay.
Yeah.
So definitely definitely every day. But being organized,
Right.
like you say, is definitely very, very important. Sometimes I have organized chaos, but
I think it's normal.
I
It's normal.
I managed to pull it together when I'm supposed to,
Right.
and have everything in order, like I'm supposed to. So, I mean, it's definitely difficult because I do wear all of the hats,
Right.
literally all of the hats, and sometimes, when I say all of the hats, I mean down to being a server, being a host, being the bartender, being the cook, so it's a lot of things that I do. I put myself in this position for a reason. I know I can handle it,
Right.
but it's definitely challenging every day.
Well, I mean, that's where the growth comes in.
Yes.
That's definitely where the growth comes in, because the more successful you become, the more problems you're going to have to learn how to endure.
Exactly.
And that's the thing that I've always learned. And going back to when you talked about when you pray for something, a lot of the times we pray to have flowers, but God will send us rain. But the rain is to help produce more flowers.
Absolutely.
We just see the rain and we're like, oh my gosh, why me? And this, like, no, God is preparing you for that harvest season.
Absolutely.
And so speaking of harvest, you started out as a personal chef, or where did that journey start out that led you here?
So actually, when I was in Virginia, I did, branch out a little bit and personal chef.
Okay.
And then when I moved to Vegas, I actually wanted to jump straight into catering, but it really didn't take on well because everybody is like, oh, we don't know who you are. We haven't, tried your food. I said, okay, don't worry about it.
Right.
We're going to figure this thing out.
Definitely.
And y'all going to know who I am
Talk
as
your
Chef
stuff,
B.
Chef
Okay.
B.
And Pretty Soul Kitchen.
Right.
So I started with the meal prep. And I had a couple events. I was able to meet some great people to introduce me to other people. And so that's kind of where that journey started. And then it started to pick up with the personal, with the meal prep.
Okay.
And then into the personal chef and catering. So
Can you talk about the difference in meal prepping and personal chefing and catering, because people may not know that those are completely different?
Oh, definitely. Yeah, they're all three different categories. With the meal prep, so the meal prep is definitely more of like a daily meal that either one person or family can consume, but they're all prepared at one time and packaged individually. So I've had families, I've had, individuals that just want to eat right and have more healthy foods, and not have to think about their meals for the day, which is where it's very, very helpful. And then with the personal chef, I just go to wherever they are located, whether it's their home, Airbnb. I've definitely personal chefed in some hotels that have like a full kitchen, like the full suite, and just prepare a full meal for them to consume for, whatever time. I've done, like 2 hours, 2 or 3 hours, or a full day where they have like 2 meals. So they have like their brunch and dinner. And then the catering, obviously, for large parties, just taking the food, setting it up, and everybody gets to enjoy.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So when I think about cooking and home cooked meals and all of these things, so for a while, I actually used to live with my grandparents in Mississippi, my dad's side of the family. And my dad's side had a big family. It was 10 of them, of the siblings. And there's 36 of us first cousins.
Jeez.
Yeah. So I got a gang behind me.
Okay.
So Roundtree gang. And so growing up,
the way we came together on every holiday, the cooking is what always got us together. And I can just remember, my grandmother, who wasn't necessarily a chef by trade, but she was a cook, every day made biscuits from scratch. I mean, I'm talking about like a whole spread. Every dinner, a whole spread had 3 proteins, 3 starches, 4 like just whatever. And so the thing I've always appreciated about people who can cook or chefs or whatever is they really like an individual who brings families together.
Yeah.
Because even when you think about whether you've catered for families or did meal prep, that's that most intimate time that most families have together. Yeah. Did you get a chance to witness that even just within your own family? Were you the cook, the chef? Were you the one who brought everybody together because they want to taste your food?
So no, actually.
Okay.
Actually, not at all. So I tried to a couple times. I had like Christmas or 4th of July at my house.
Okay.
I have a pretty nice sized family as well.
36 cousins?
Not that
many.
Not that many.
Yeah, my family was getting busy. Let me just say.
We definitely have a nice sized family. Our family's kind of spread all across the states, but the ones that are in Virginia, and we would do things. So not so much with me preparing the food. It usually was just like my grandmother and like her sisters.
Right.
So mainly for like family reunion and holiday and stuff like that. So usually it was just them. It wasn't until I got a little bit older because I used to work for this place and we had Thanksgiving once a month. We had Thanksgiving once a month. So I had a lot of experience with turkeys. So Thanksgiving is one of my favorite holidays.
That's actually most people's, I think.
I just love to cook for Thanksgiving. Like that's my favorite meal to cook. Although I kind of cook that stuff every day though. But so they would ask me to carve the turkey though. And I'm like, I am like,
so is there a skill to carving turkeys?
Oh yes,
it is.
It definitely is. Like when I
so you just don't pull the leg off?
No,
that's what I would do. I don't know.
It's never just that, and I swear it makes me cringe so much when I see people just cutting the meat off the turkey. Like it's a whole thing. Like seriously, like debone it. But that's a me thing. Yeah, 100%.
See me, I'm like, look, just rip the leg off. I'm hungry. I've been sitting around watching football for hours, and but
it don't
hungry.
take long though.
Okay.
I got it down packed. Like when I tell you that experience, like doing 10 turkeys a month.
Oh wow.
Okay. Well, Thanksgiving every month we doing at least 10 turkeys. Okay. Carving them, you get pretty quick.
I can imagine.
And very, very skilled. So I carve a good turkey.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you go from being a chef, a personal chef, to catering in no particular order, meal prepping. At what point did you say, I can do this?
It's always been in me. It's always been in me. I've been destined to do this.
Okay.
It's definitely been on my vision board. And you know what's so funny? So speaking of my vision board, I have a food truck. So my goal was to have the food truck, then have the brick and mortar, right? And then I was also still a little shaky on the brick and mortar part because not really knowing where I was going to settle.
Right.
I was in Virginia for forever and a day and, then moving to Vegas. So not really knowing that this was going to be my home for so long. It was just a little bit, I don't know if that's what I want kind of thing. But God was like, listen, I'm doing this for you for a reason.
Wow.
And I never even had a food truck, but people have seen I don't know how, but other people have seen that I had a food truck and I've never had a food truck.
Hey, free marketing, I guess.
It was on, it was just on my vision board. It was in my vision to have, but God was like, you don't need that stuff. You know what I mean? We're going to take you from here to here.
Right.
And I totally skipped the food truck, but everybody thinks
so did you
one.
Fight the voice of going into the restaurant industry, or did you just jump in?
So I mean, I had a few little steps in between because I had the takeout restaurant. So not necessarily fight
Now
it.
let's back up. Explain
Okay.
a takeout restaurant, because some people may not know what that is.
Okay, so I had a cloud kitchen
Okay.
space. And if anybody knows what that is, it's just basically a bunch of different like restaurants or kitchens in one big building, and you just order through like the DoorDash and Uber Eats and stuff like
Okay.
that. So that's what I had. It was a takeout. So it wasn't a dine-in. It was not technically a brick and mortar, but kind of sort of.
That was the start.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was the start of it. But yeah, so I had that first, and then here. And in between, I never really fought it, but it was, I didn't know when this was going to happen.
Correct.
I didn't know how it was going to happen because I had a whole lot of like trials and tribulations in between.
That's that rain you prayed for.
Oh, man.
That's that rain.
Like, seriously.
Right.
And you don't ever understand it while you're going through it. But once you come out on the other end, it's you feel it, you know, and you understand and you see why you had to experience all of that. But so not technically fighting it. I let it happen.
Okay. Were there tears on this journey?
A whole lot. I don't even know why that's even a question. Definitely a lot of tears. Definitely a lot of tears because, like you said, that rain, that storm that you experience, not knowing what is going to happen, when it's going to happen, how it's going to happen. You're like, just like, give me a sign, show me that this is even where I'm supposed to be right now. So I definitely cried a lot. Right. I cried a lot. I mean, it was a time where my bank account got hacked. I had $0 in it, and I'm signing my lease.
Wow.
To my space. I definitely cried. I definitely cried then and there because,
But you didn't stop, though.
I didn't.
And that's the thing I really want people to understand, that with progress comes pain.
Oh, of course.
And a lot of people would have folded at that moment.
Yeah.
Trust me, I've been in those situations. Yeah. But what kept you going?
Just saying to myself, you didn't come this far just to stop, you know? And I always think about this a little meme, this little photo that I saw years ago. And it's two miners, guys, they hacking at some diamonds. And you seen this before?
1,000 times.
Okay. So you know what I'm talking about. So anyway.
But I'm going to let you tell the story.
Okay.
This is all about you right now. Okay.
So it's two guys hacking at some diamonds. The one at the top, he's just like a few hacks away from like the biggest diamond. He stops and turns around, and the one at the bottom, he just keeps going, and he gets to like thousands of diamonds. And I hold that that image in my mind because it's like, if I stop, I could be that 2 or 3 hacks away from getting to my goal, and it's not how big or how many things that you're going after. It's that goal.
Definitely.
And understanding I set this goal for myself. I set a vision for myself. I knew long time ago that I was going to have this. I just didn't know when it was going to happen. I had set a goal for myself when I was about 25, 26-ish, that by the time I turned 40, it was certain things that I was going to have and a certain way that I was going to be living. Wow. And I reached that.
Wow. So let's back up for a second.
Okay.
So how long would you say from the time you set the goal till you hit it? How many years? What's that stretch look like? And it's a reason I'm asking that question.
So a good 15 years, if not more.
Y'all hear that? It took 15 years. Here's why I'm stressing that.
Okay.
I meet so many people who wake up on a random Tuesday and say, I want to be a millionaire by Wednesday. No plan, nothing in place.
Yeah.
Haven't got any data on what it is they want to do. You're saying it took you 15 years. It took me about that long as well, too. And so I want the viewers to understand that it will take time.
Yeah.
Because you have to be able to find out and figure out what even works.
Yeah.
Because what works for you may not work for the next chef or the next individual or whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
And the fact that you said Why would I stop after coming this close? Because then here's what I always see happens. We'll stop, and then there's somebody who's behind us will come in and reap all of the benefits
Of your hard work.
Yeah. I'm not letting that go to vain. And I'm pretty sure that's how you felt.
Exactly.
So your bank account is hacked.
Yeah.
$0 in the bank account.
Yeah.
You're signing your lease. I'm pretty sure it was ripped up because the tears was hitting the paper, something like that. So after you actually signed the lease, and you walk in the establishment, how did that feel?
Oh, it felt so good.
Right.
It felt so good because, and I'm trying not to get emotional right now, because every time I think about everything that I've prayed for.
Take your time.
The tears is about to start.
Right. That's all right. They need to know this is real.
And every time I think about the goals and the stuff that I had to experience, and me telling my kids, you know, this is what I want to do. This is what I'm going to do. And explaining to them that, you know, it's certain things that I can't do at home, you know, no cable, no Wi-Fi, you know, barely can afford my cell phone bill, late on the rent, you know, all of these things that I've had to experience to get here. And for me to get my keys and still not have no money in the bank though, because I got the keys and I'm like, I don't even have no money to get anybody in here to paint. So
hey, we've all been there.
But it felt so good, and I didn't even worry about anything else.
That's what
you know,
and that's what I want people to understand. That sometimes the feat is worth the pain.
Yeah.
Even while you're still going through the pain.
Yeah.
Because you know, these are the keys to changing that. Yeah. You know,
absolutely.
And so as you got into your building, you said you didn't even have the money to paint. Like you did all of this yourself.
Literally.
And when I heard that story, I was like, wow, that you didn't let anything stop you. Some people let the weather dictate whether they do business or whether they proceed or whatever the case may be. You're like, look, I don't care what's going on. I am not stopping.
Exactly.
Like, how does one get to that place mentally? Because a lot of people can't do that.
To be honest, I don't know how to tell someone to get there mentally. It's something that's just inside you.
It's in you.
You know, if it ain't in you, it ain't gonna be in you. You know, because being goal driven, it comes with a lot. You know, it
Definitely.
comes with a strong mindset. It comes with a strong heart, and it just comes with the eagerness to succeed.
Definitely.
You know, I want to be successful.
Right.
And I'm going to be successful.
Talk your stuff.
So in order for that to happen, I can't allow any of the things that I experience to stop that.
Right.
You know, so being determined that's deep in your soul.
100%.
You know what I mean? I always tell a person, you know, I've been a hustler all my life.
Right.
You know, and I don't care what that avenue looks like. I'm going to sell something.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
We're going to make some money around here.
If it ain't but
gravy,
she's selling something out this restaurant.
Facts. And, you know, and I'm very good at it.
Right.
You know, so I've just had that hustle mindset, that hustle spirit.
Definitely.
My entire life.
No,
like when I tell you my entire life, I mean that. Like I was, you know, 6-7 years old at my grandmother's childcare center selling some drawings.
Wow.
You know, the first piece of food I ever sold, I sold some candy at school.
Wow.
I used to make bacon sandwiches, sell them to the kids on the bus. Okay. I used to sell sunglasses.
That's a new one. Bacon sandwiches.
Bacon sandwiches. I got got on the bus one day and eating a bacon sandwich, and I did it on purpose. Okay. This one I used to eat pork. I don't eat pork.
Marketing.
Okay.
Look, y'all take notes.
I got on the bus on purpose. They could smell the sandwich. They was like, "Oh, what you eating? What you eating?" I said, "Oh, I got a bacon sandwich." "Oh, why you ain't bring me one?" "Don't worry about it. I got you tomorrow. Just, have them. I think it probably charged like $5 or something like that. Have my money.
$5 for a sandwich?
Okay.
She was charging more than McDonald's.
Well, it's a bacon sandwich.
Look, I ain't mad at you.
Look, it's a bacon
I'm not mad at you.
Gotta take my bread out of the house, my bacon. Not to mention, I wasn't paying for none of it. My mama got on me though.
Right.
But I did, like I said, I did it on purpose. Sold a couple sandwiches. I was like, oh, I can definitely do this.
Definitely.
When I was selling candy at school, I take my candy to school, got a backpack full.
Right.
At lunch, pop out the candy because nobody else have it. Right. We don't have it in no vending machines or nothing like that. So I pull out my candy. The kids see me. Oh, let me get some of that.
Right.
25 cents. You know what I mean?
I hope y'all taking notes.
I mean, so like I said, when it's in you, it's in you. And 100%. I've been doing this for a long time.
Definitely.
So, yeah.
Definitely. No, and people need to hear those stories because those are the things I think that makes you.
Absolutely.
It's not the restaurant. It's your journey.
Yeah.
That's brought you here. So you open up the door.
Yeah.
You're excited. You have this feeling that overcomes all of the struggle and pain and tears that you went through, and then you get that first customer. Mm-hmm. How did that feel?
Oh, it felt so good. It felt so good that I had the support.
Right.
Because I've been in Vegas for a little while, the personal chef and the catering, things like that. So people were actually waiting for this, so it was super exciting. I had our launch day, like a soft opening, and the entire dining room packed.
I know that had to be a feeling.
It felt so good. Mind you, I didn't even have all these tables and stuff that y'all see right now. I didn't even have all these tables. I had to rent tables.
Wow. No excuses.
I had to rent tables. Yes, no excuse whatsoever. I'm like, all right, so I got a couple dollars right here.
Right.
I'm finna rent these tables. So I rented the tables. I had enough seats for everybody that was coming in the door. Right. And the experience itself, it felt so good though. Definitely. Because I worked so hard to get here, and the people came through that door. You know what I mean? Like, they could have made a reservation and didn't show up, but they showed up. And they filled the building. And it was just me and my son back there in the kitchen cooking, getting all the food out. And it was a whole new menu for him. So he was, figuring it out too. And it was a good experience.
Right.
And it was. So every time I have a celebration here, so like the 1 year anniversary, when I had my birthday event last year, it just gives me like a heartwarming feeling.
Right.
It gives me just the excitement all over again. Like, this is what I'm doing it for.
Wow. So I'll tell you how I actually found out about your restaurant.
Okay.
So I'm scrolling on TikTok. I probably was supposed to be asleep.
Most people.
So I'm sitting there scrolling, and I see one of the number one food critics in the world say, Pretty Soul Kitchen, 20 out of 20.
Ooh, wasn't that? But yeah, we're going to give it that.
I'm going to say 20.
Okay.
And so because I'm a supporter of Keith Lee. Shout out to Keith Lee.
Yes.
And I've tried to try all of the restaurant recommendations that he recommends in Las Vegas.
Oh, okay.
And I was like, I have to go there.
Yeah.
And so to have that cosign and that stamp from the probably the number one food reviewer right now, like, were you caught off guard? Like, how did that play out for you that day?
Okay, so first, why did you can I ask you this?
Yeah.
Why did you feel like you have to come here?
Why?
Yeah. What even though Keith Lee co-signed, what was it?
So I'm a big visual person when it comes to food, because I'm not like a foodie. Okay. I like going out to eat, but I can't, like, you probably don't want my reviews, okay? Let me just put it that way, because I'll be like, oh yeah, they're good. And so I'm a visual person.
Okay.
The dishes look good.
Oh, okay.
And so when you talked about creating art, I'm big on that.
Okay.
You know, I'm big on plating. So that's what captures my attention.
Got it.
You know what I'm saying? And then
Yeah.
in Vegas, we don't have a lot of soul food restaurants in the selection. And once I saw what the catfish looked like, I was sold. Because a lot of people cannot make good catfish.
Yeah.
And so I was sold, and I came in, and next thing you know, I'm bringing my family. So I think one time I came here 3 times in 1 week.
Oh, wow.
And so I'm big on supporting local establishments that's not always on the strip. I want to support the local restaurants because that's what keeps the community thriving. And
Absolutely.
so your restaurant has always had my support. And so how do you feel when you get those individuals who come back more than once? Because for somebody to visit a local restaurant more than once, that means a lot.
Yeah.
That means that it's something that they value, whether it was the hospitality, the food, all of the above. So outside of, Keith Lee and some of the other regulars that you have, like, how did that feeling feel? And the only reason I'm asking that is because I think a lot of the times as entrepreneurs, we're so in our bubble, we never take time to feel the feeling of, man, like, this is really what I've been praying to do.
Yeah. So, I mean, I 100% love it when we have the locals, when they are repeat customers. I don't always get to see everyone because I'm usually back in the back. But when I do get a chance to talk to them and, see their face, quite a few times, I definitely appreciate it, and I try to make everyone feel like home.
Definitely.
Although they watch my social media and they just come in like they know me. I'm like, hi. But that definitely makes me feel good because it's not that you're coming to support a Black business. You're just coming here because the food is good and you want to support.
And that's why I didn't say supporting a Black business, because I think sometimes when we use that terminology, we limit who wants to support.
Yeah.
Even for myself, I don't necessarily say I'm a Black-owned business owner.
Yeah.
I'm a business owner.
Yeah.
And who happens to get support from everywhere. And I think sometimes that can be a stigma. How do you feel about that?
I definitely don't like that term or whatever. I definitely just view myself as a business owner, because it gives a different type of customer base when someone is coming because they want to support a Black business. Because those kind of people can be a lot like judgy. You know what I mean?
I was just about to ask, do you think that the expectation is different?
It is.
When you have the Black business tagline on top of your business.
Yeah, 100%. And because the type of food that I serve as well. And, it being, I always call the food that we have as a Southern cuisine, elevated Southern cuisine. People put us in the category of soul food. And to me, soul food means something totally different.
Correct.
But, to most people, when they have that soul food and they supporting the Black business, it definitely gives a different type of feel, a different type of customer. They want it, inexpensive and they want it fast. And I'm only here because it's a Black business,
That would drive me crazy.
It does so much.
That's where that patience comes in, right?
Yeah. But so, I definitely like to be more considered as Southern cuisine, and that elevated Southern cuisine because, the plating is really nice. I do what I do because it's a passion for me and I enjoy it and I want the people that come in to enjoy it as well and explore all of the things that I have on the menu, not just the collard greens and the macaroni and cheese and Because again, that soul food, when people hear that, like I said, they want it cheap and they want it fast and they want to compare it to their grandma. And this ain't your grandma's
This ain't your
kitchen.
grandma. This is Chef B kitchen. Okay. So I like the Southern cuisine tagline.
Yeah.
So make sure y'all, it's Pretty Soul Kitchen, Southern cuisine.
Yes.
But here's when I think about even the title of your restaurant, Pretty Soul Kitchen.
Yeah.
And so it's not about soul food.
Correct.
It's that food touches the soul.
Yes.
And so I get it.
Yeah.
I get it. And that's what I wanted you to be able to translate to people, because I know sometimes you don't have time to tell that to everybody who comes through the door, or do a 15-second Instagram story.
Exactly.
Like, I wanted you to be able to tell your story the way that it should be told, and sometimes we need that pulled out of us because we're focused on being the creator.
Yes.
You're creating the art pieces of the meals and different things of that nature. And so if it's one or two things that you can leave people with when it comes to whether it's getting in the restaurant business or the journey of as I call failure, because failure is just the data that fuels you to get you to that next level. What are those one or two pieces of information that you would love to leave people with?
Yeah, definitely. If you have a goal, have a vision, just don't stop. Don't stop. Keep going. See it to the end. And always stay down and bet on yourself. That's the one thing that I'm always going to do, is bet on myself. Always.
100%.
Because ain't nobody going to do it like I do it.
Right.
So, believing in that and believing in yourself is very important. So, if anybody out there wanting to be an entrepreneur, wanting to own a restaurant, if anything, take that to the grave.
Right.
You know what I mean? Stay down for yourself and your goal, and always be your number one fan.
Definitely. And make sure y'all come to Las Vegas and visit Pretty Soul Kitchen, Southern cuisine. Did I say the word right?
Southern cuisine.
Okay,
yes.
Southern cuisine. They know I can't pronounce words half the time. So, but
It's
speaking
okay.
of never stopping, as we wrap up, it reminds me of when I was in track and field, and I ran. What's that? Where you do, you're running, but it's the long run.
Like the 100 meter.
It's not the 100 meter. It's cross country. Thank you, Daniel.
Okay.
I don't know what possessed me to sign up for cross country. But I remember my freshman year, I signed up, and my coach at the time said, "Will, promise me one thing. Whatever you do, don't stop moving your feet.
Okay.
I don't care if you walk across the line. I don't care if you roll across the line, but don't stop moving."
Okay.
And that was so profound to me my freshman year, because that's how I live my life as an entrepreneur now. No matter how muddy the water gets, no matter how thick the quicksand of entrepreneurship gets, never stop moving your feet.
Absolutely.
Because eventually you will get there. And that's really what it boils down to. And
100%.
so how can they follow you or find you online or anything like that?
So you can find us on Instagram and TikTok. The Pretty Little Kitchen is what it is on those, and prettysoulkitchen.info online. And obviously, anytime you visit Las Vegas, 7365 West Sahara, just check in with me.
Y'all make sure y'all come and get some of this good old food. Look, I'm about to eat. I don't know about y'all. So make sure y'all tune in. And that wraps up another episode of the Full-Time CEO podcast, where we interview dope individuals, entrepreneurs, businessmen, businesswomen, moguls, and everything for the culture of life and entrepreneurship. Y'all already know the drill. I'll see y'all at the top. Let's go.
Thank you.
You can't save your way out of poverty.
If the bank is going to take your money invested in real estate, how come we not doing that? We got to focus on ownership. We have to own shit.
I love investing in real estate. It's the one tangible asset class that has stood the test